So what do you do in a post-pandemic market? Well, most people's world kind of got turned upside down. And just about everybody is wondering what things are going to be like going forward. Well, outside of washing your hands a little bit more and maybe not going to so many large social gatherings, most people surveyed say they really aren't going to change a whole lot of things. Let us know if you feel the same. Now, since all of this craziness started, people are probably in one of three different camps. The first camp is those that panicked and did nothing. The second is those that panicked and did things without the right advice, and it might have been, well, let's just say not so right. And the third camp is those that collected themselves, got some advice on what the next best steps were before they acted. Let's help you out with those next steps. Josh Miller here with Miller Retirement Group. Today, we'll go through 3 actions you can take to get control of your retirement in a post-pandemic market. And I'll touch on a couple opportunities you can take advantage of. One could mean paying a lot less in taxes, so stick around to the end. When you subscribe to our channel, make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can get up-to-date content every Friday for the retirement answers you need. Let us know what action or strategy you want more information on by putting your comment or question below. Well, let's take some action and jump into today's video. What the heck is happening? You know, after those first few weeks of the markets dropping like a rock, things kind of calmed down, leveled off, and actually started going back up fairly quickly. And as of now, the middle of summer, the markets have come back pretty strong and they're settling down just a little bit. But with all the shutdowns, shelter-at-home orders, things slowly opening back up, riots, and who knows what's next, there's a lot of people that feel that this volatility isn't over. You know, is it going to happen again? And if so, when? How far will it go? And how long will it last? Well, it doesn't really matter if you have a good financial plan. A good financial plan works in any market. You see, whenever volatility hits, some people just kind of freeze and say they're not going to do anything. Others want to change everything. But the winners are those who step aside, make a plan, and take action. Remember those 3 camps? The ones that make a plan and act on it know they're going to be in a good spot when things bounce back, which they always do. That's one reason why a lot of wealthy individuals have a financial advisor. The advisor keeps them from reacting to the market and making rash decisions. Now, as a financial advisor, I know up and down markets happen all the time. But when stuff hits the fan, I don't want to be like some of the other financial advisors who may feel almost obligated to show you a stock market chart and say something like this. Yes, but just remember, it's the stock market. There's bound to be ups and downs. It's just the nature of investing. We all just have to weather the storms every now and then. Well, how do you feel when you hear that you should just wait it out? When you see your accounts going down, that could be 1 year, 2 year, maybe 3 years worth of income that just kind of goes poof, you know? Can you stomach that? That's why I have a hard time with some of the advice you get from others when it comes to weathering storms. Now, we called every one of our clients, and not because they were freaking out and not because we were freaking out, but just to remind them that we had created a plan with this kind of volatility in mind. But we wanted to know if they still felt okay with what we'd put together. And only a couple were a little concerned. And after things had turned around, one even called back and said, "You were right." Now, if you don't have a plan that factors in big market swings, changing a big portion of your investments based on what's happening in the moment could be a mistake. But on the flip side, not doing anything could be the wrong thing to do too. So what do you do instead of just sitting there while you got all these questions? Well, the first action you should take when there's so much volatility is simply talk with an advisor, at least to get some perspective. Now, this short conversation with an advisor is the first critical step, because the hard and fast rule for what you should do at a time like this is it depends. Everyone's situation, behavior, diversification, wants, needs, goals, they're all different. So your next step might be different than your buddy's next step. It'll be pretty clear after just a few minutes into our conversation if a simple risk analysis would be your next step. Now, you'd think that every financial advisor does something like this, but about 8 out of 10 new clients that we see have never had this done. And whether you think you're Evel Knievel or more of a sit in the safety of your living room type, it would be a very smart move to know what your actual risk exposure currently is, because the worst time to find out how much risk you have is when it's too late. Maybe that happened to you in March, but let's make sure it doesn't happen again, because I'll bet you would say you're fairly, if not pretty conservative. Most retirees and soon-to-bes that we speak with have said something to that effect. And yet when we do a risk analysis, they find out that their portfolios are way more aggressive than they are comfortable with. And they let us know. Don't let that be you. Hiring an advisor that is trained for your stage of life could be the difference between you having the retirement you've always wanted or the retirement you get stuck with. A simple risk analysis is all you need to find out exactly what percentage of your assets are at risk. Now, if you'd like to take a little worry out of your retirement, go ahead and click the link and we can run a free risk analysis for your portfolio. Your retirement might span 3 decades or more. Wouldn't you want to know it'll last, no matter what the market or the economy does? Because the financial landscape and economy have changed in the last few months, but there are some things that haven't changed for you. Your income need is probably still going to be the same, right? I mean, you still want the same lifestyle as you did before the pandemic. Now, you still don't want to lose what you spent years gaining. We have a quarterly rebalancing, so your portfolio stays within your tolerance. Now, when we look at someone's investments after a down market occurs, we look at a possible reset. We want to make sure you're not overexposed in certain sectors. Now, that's not getting in and out of the market. It's positioning your portfolio for when the market comes back, because what was doing good before might not perform the same going forward. A lot of times, different sectors emerge much stronger after the correction than the ones that were doing good before the correction. Let's make sure you're positioned correctly for your comfort level. Now, the second action you should take is getting an income plan created. You know that nagging question that just about everybody feels as they get close to retiring? That incessant wonder that plays in the back of your mind of, do we really have enough? Will this pile of money last as long as we need it? Did you know you don't actually have to wonder about that? You can literally test that question and have it definitively answered once and for all. And that's what we do. We give people those answers and help them make whatever adjustments are needed now so they don't ever have to worry about it later. And if you haven't had a written retirement income plan put in place, you're not alone. I'd say over 80% of those that we meet with have never had something like this done for them. This income plan goes over when your paychecks start, where they'll come from, how long they last, how they grow over time, and how all of it is taxed. Now, would you sleep easier at night knowing that it's taken care of? I think I would. Now, if you already have an income plan, was there any part that you weren't 100% satisfied with before? Well, if that was the case before all this craziness started, don't you think you should really have that looked at to make sure it's still going to work? Get the income plan done with your current advisor, do it with us, just get it done with somebody that's qualified so you know that you're going to be okay. Because let's face it, I mean, nobody knows how long these up and down markets will last, when the next cycle will happen, or how far they'll go in either direction. What we do know from history is up and down markets are a given. There's just no predicting the cycle. Make sure where you are is where you want to be. Just click the link to relax. Now, the third action we recommend everyone take right now is getting a truly holistic financial plan together. And if you don't have a financial plan that works, your behavior might get in the way. If you're not sure if you already have one, here are a few simple questions to ask yourself. Have I been resting completely easy these past few months as I watch the markets? Do I know exactly how I'll generate my own paychecks in retirement and how long they'll last? What do my taxes look like throughout my retirement? And do I understand all of the products and investments I own and how they work together for me? Now, if you answered no to any of those 4 questions, there's a pretty good chance you just have a portfolio rather than a plan. Now, when people come to us and they tell us they have these certain accounts, it kind of reminds us of a junk drawer or a stack of statements that you file away and never revisit. You know, they have all these different investments within their portfolio, but they don't have a strategic plan on which ones they should have for their retirement, which one to tap into first, how long it'll last, how much they'll have after taxes, how to take care of any long-term healthcare issues, or how to pass on their legacy the most efficiently. Now, that sounds like a lot to consider, but for some people, having these details looked at by a professional who does this for a living can be the difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars or more for you, your spouse, and your next generation. We want to make this as easy as possible for you. Let us do the hard work. It doesn't hurt to have this checked out. Just click the link to talk to an advisor. So those are the first 3 actions to get back control of your retirement. Get a risk analysis done, get an income plan, and get your holistic retirement plan created. Because there is way more to retirement than just risk and income. Now, there are some great opportunities, believe it or not, that you can benefit when the market is down. The first thing you should look at taking advantage of in a down market is dollar cost averaging, or buying while it's low. Now, this is pretty simple, straightforward, easy to understand, right? Buy low, sell high. But if you're already in retirement and you're taking a little income from your assets, what do? Well, maybe there's another source of funds you can use while the market is down that would leave you in a better spot. This would be some sort of account that doesn't lose value based on the market. This could be money market accounts, savings accounts, CDs, fixed index annuities, tax-free loan from cash value life insurance, stuff like that. Now, pulling from these types of accounts means that you won't have to sell positions while the market is low. Remember, we want to buy low and sell high, not the reverse. Now, the second thing you can take advantage of is Roth conversions. Now, if you ask anybody, they would probably say they pay way too much in tax. Wouldn't you? Yet we are in historically low tax rates. When the Tax Cut and Job Act lowered taxes in 2018, it created an amazing opportunity to take advantage of some Roth conversions. Taxes went down, so they're on sale. So advisors are calling this the tax sale of a lifetime. Now, we can't say you are in the lowest tax bracket you'll ever be in because we don't know your situation yet. But with the national debt where it is and the government spending money like it's going out of style, where do you think overall tax rates are going to go? Now, with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, we know tax rates are going to go up in 2026, at least with the current administration. So we know what kind of tax rates we'll be paying in the near future. What we don't know is where they'll be after this tax sale sunsets. So if it makes sense for you to do some Roth conversions, we only have a few years left to take advantage of these rates. And just to let you know, most retirees are not in a lower tax bracket after they retire. Why is that? Well, there are several reasons, but there are two main reasons. One, most of your deductions are gone by that time, right? Your kids are grown up and many of you have your house paid off. Those are two of the biggest deductions most people have. And the second reason is, who wants to take a big cut in lifestyle? Just imagine cutting your lifestyle in half right now. Half the trips, half the restaurants, half the fun. How's that feel? Retirement is meant to be when you enjoy more things. So that's why most people are in the same tax bracket when they retire. So what we were told about getting that tax deduction while we were working and paying taxes when we were retired and in a lower tax bracket, it's not coming true. But that's most people. Maybe your situation is different. That's why it would be a very smart move to talk with an advisor that does some tax planning to see if a Roth conversion is right for you. And I stress, someone that does tax planning, because there's a big difference between a tax planner and someone who prepares your tax return every year. One looks at the past, one looks at your future. Now, most CPAs do a great job for their clients, and we work closely with them to make sure that you pay the least amount of tax that you are legally obligated to pay. And if you want to know what your tax map in retirement looks like and possibly save hundreds of thousands of dollars over your retirement, just click this link to schedule a consultation. And I also talk more about taxes and what Roth conversions can look like for you in our video on taxes and inflation. So those are the areas that you should focus on first when there's some volatility. That can give you some breathing room, and then we can go from there. So now I want to hear from you. When the time comes for you to make important decisions, are you the kind of person who tends to sit back and let things happen to you and kind of, let things work themselves out? Or are you the kind of person that makes a plan and takes action? Remember those three camps: panicking and doing nothing, panicking and doing things that might be wrong, or making a plan and acting on it. Your decisions are going to determine what kind of retirement you'll have. Luck, the government, not even a pandemic will determine your retirement. The decisions you make right now will determine what it'll look like. And if you're the person that takes action and would like help answering any or all of the questions for your retirement, go ahead and click the link below for a simple 15-minute complimentary phone consultation to find out if we can help. Our next video in this series will touch on your question, do I even need an advisor? And if so, when? Tell us in the comments which actions or strategies you want more information on. And if you like learning on the go, head on over to our podcast, Retirement Rescue Radio. You can use it as another tool to help you navigate your retirement. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss an answer to your questions. Live the retirement you deserve.